if we look at Tony Ferguson first, his striking is very awkward. He doesn't really have a stance. He doesn't really have a particular movement pattern. Sometimes he'll kind of bound from side to side as he's attacking. Sometimes he'll step through and switch stance and throw weird shots from strange angles. But because he's got such long arms, and because he comes from strange angles, he lands with weird punches. And it's something that's always stood out to me in his career, because we're still trying to understand MMA striking. There's still a lot of ways that the fist can land on a target and do damage to it. You know, Said Nurmagomedov's got a really nice ridge hand that he uses. Junior Dos Santos uses the inside of his knuckles quite a lot, which seems like an odd thing to do, but it works very well for him. Like, if you watch this against Ramsey Nijem here, obviously it's a little while ago. He throws this really long, sweeping left hook. I mean, again, look, his feet are kind of nowhere, landing on his heel as well. I'm interested to see, because I know he's working with Freddie Roach, and I've worked a bit with Freddie in the past, and he's very, very much a nice, good basics and fundamentals. What I would like is for him to have nailed down some of the simple parts of Tony Ferguson's game and made them better. I don't know how much he's working with Freddie. Of course, Freddie Roach is a busy individual. But to be able to better utilize these long limbs that he's got and the power that he seems to be able to generate, it would be a real benefit. I mean, that's a really, really odd punch. We'll see it from the other angle here. And look at the way that the fist lands. It doesn't even kind of come like a hook. And as it lands, it goes across almost like across the cheekbone, but with hitting with the inside of the knuckles. But clearly does a lot of damage. Ramsey Nijem's legs stiffen up, and then Tony Ferguson rushes in. And this is probably my favourite punch that he lands against Kakuno. So he's kind of course, he kind of hangs his head out there. He's got this weird style. So his opponent tries to throw a shot, throws a lead hand. Tony slips out the way, just touches him with the lead hand. It's almost like a measurement. He didn't want to hit him too hard with that and push him out of the way of the power shot that was coming. Touches him with the lead hand, and then bang, right across the chin with the right hand. This other angle's better. Good head movement. This is the kind of thing that Tony Ferguson needs to do, because Chandler's going to definitely be trying to crack him with some big shots. Little slip out the way, and watch how he touches him with the lead hand. It's just like he's setting his target, because you can clearly see he could have straightened that arm further. He could have really punched into him, and that would have moved his head back in this direction, which may have brought him out of range of the of the right hand. Touch, bang. Really nice. And of course, when it closes range, something that Tony Ferguson's very much known for are his elbows. There are two particular times when he's landed elbows to me, and it was a masterclass elbow. Very, very unorthodox still, but effective because he's difficult to read. So he's here against Josh Thompson, who's a very good fighter. One of my favorites to watch back in the day. A little bit chaotic as well. Would throw strange things at his opponent, and Tony steps in and slices him with an elbow. And, he might be towards the end of his career, but one thing, his elbows are no more blunt than they were a few years ago. He's got very, very dangerous elbows. And because Chandler steps in so big with his shots, Tony Ferguson doesn't mind getting hit. There might be a situation where he just stands his ground and just goes smash and walks him onto one of these elbows. Watch this one he lands against Josh here. Well, he cracks him across the side of the head. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun here. So he reaches for the lead hand, which is quite John Jones uses this a lot against Rashad Evans. Reaches for the lead hand and then comes around the side with the elbow. So he kind of pulls the hand down and out the way. Little kung fu move. Bang, right on the side of the head. And then Josh Thompson's wobbled. Gathers himself, gets back up to his feet, and then this one lands. And it literally is a slicing elbow. I mean, it really is. And you can tell it's a slicing elbow because it doesn't really turn Josh Thompson's head too much. But then as soon as he moves past him, kind of like the cut I was talking about in the other war room that's up, if you haven't watched it already, you can see blood immediately. Ooh, you can see blood straight away. Like, it cuts him immediately. It does a lot of damage straight away. And he's wobbled, and of course goes for a spinning elbow, but just can't stay on his feet. Here's a better view of it. Again, grabs the hands first, grabs the wrists, controls him. He's coming around the outside. Bang. Slice right across his eyebrow. And straight away there's the cut. And then, of course, against Edson Barbosa, lands a really nice smashing up elbow. Hurts him with that one, and then steps through with another one. And he's doing the same thing here. He's reaching with this hand to the lead hand of Edson Barbosa. Reaches with the hand. So he just cups it with his fingers, just catches it and pulls it out of the way. It's a small, subtle movement, but it allows him to roll his elbow over and hit. Smashes right down on his chin. And then, of course, he's bloodied. And this is often what happens in Tony Ferguson's fights. He doesn't really mind if you don't take if you're trying to take him down, because Chandler might try and take him down, and if he does, there are lots of things waiting for him. There are anacondas and Darce chokes and rear naked chokes. And if he's been hit with some elbows on the way in, or if he's been hit with those long range straight punches that Tony's got, we might see Chandler, bloodied and tired and level changing recklessly, and running into something like this. I mean, it's very rare that we see Edson Barbosa level changes. It's not something we see very often. But as he does it, Tony, of course, defends it. Really good job of defending it. Circles around, caps the back of the head. So he's immediately got pressure on the back of the head just to slow his opponent down before he replaces it with his arm. See the hands on the back of the head? There, look. All the way through. Caught on the back of the head, controlling him. So as he's able to climb over him, his posture's still broken. He's not able to posture up and get to a stronger position. Over, wraps, and stays on it. Stays on it. Readjusts. And as Barbosa bails off to his side, you can see that Tony Ferguson's already got the Darce choke wrapped up. Bit of panic because of the cut. Bit of a scramble. The blood makes it a bit easier to sink in. I mean, this is Tony Ferguson's game. This is exactly what we would expect from a Tony Ferguson fight. A bloody mess with a Darce or rear naked or anaconda choke finish. I could quite easily see this fight going that way. I could easily see Tony Ferguson being able to better Michael Chandler, especially if Chandler's being a bit reckless like he was against Justin Gaethje. And that is the tendency when you fight Tony Ferguson, because he is hittable, and you do kind of feel like you're getting the better of him, but then he's that punch bag that just won't go away, and next thing he's clawing his way back into the fight. I don't really know where these two guys are at in their career, in their head, in their health. I don't know where they're at. I don't know who's got more left on the table. You would think that Michael Chandler's got a bit more left on the table, but I don't know, because the trickiness of Tony Ferguson, it opens up some options for him. My concern for Tony Ferguson is that he's going to be hit like he's maybe never been hit before. The way that Michael Chandler covers distance, the speed at which he's able to land his straight punches, and he took a lot of shots against Justin Gaethje. He took a lot of shots. I feel like the accuracy of Michael Chandler, the right hand that he lands, or his left, because he can do this out of both stances. If he's able to connect with Tony Ferguson at the speed and power and accuracy that he does, he might just be able to put Tony Ferguson out first round. Just clean straight shot to the chin, one time, bang. Or he might hit him and hurt him enough to be able to put him on the floor where he can then start to wrestle. And we have seen Tony Ferguson dominate from top position recently. It wouldn't surprise me if Michael Chandler feels like he can do that as well. Tony Ferguson's takedown defense is effective, but it's chaotic at the same time, same as the rest of his game. There's a lot of tumbling and scrambling and wildness, and this might be a benefit to him in this fight, because whenever Michael Chandler initiates a takedown, most likely he's going to be able to do it quick enough to be able to get in on Tony Ferguson's legs and finish it. So Ferguson's got to accept that he might have to be doing his takedown defense after he's already landed on the floor, rolling through and defending in that way. Creating a scramble, accepting the takedown's coming and deciding you're not going to defend it, you're going to dive on a leg or whatever. This is where Tony Ferguson's chaos comes into play, and it's a lot of fun to watch. Like here against RDA, throws an inside low kick. See what I mean? Heads on the center line. It just seems very, very risky to me for him to be doing that against Chandler. But anyway, so he gets taken down here, immediately accepts. He puts both of his feet into a butterfly hook position. So RDA is primed, and he just fires him off and gets back to his feet. And here's another great scramble against Ramsey Nijem, who is very, very deep, controlling both legs. Could quite easily turn the corner and put Tony Ferguson down, but instead of allowing that to happen and then dealing with the problem with jiu-jitsu, with side control escapes or whatever, he decides he wants to just forward roll out of it, create a bit of chaos, which turns out, it pays off, because you can see Ramsey Nijem really tries to keep his arms around him, and Tony's able to scramble and put himself in a strong position to strike. These chaotic scrambles are based on a good instinct of foundational wrestling and jiu-jitsu. They can be a bit reckless, and he does take a lot of chances, but then there are benefits because it puts him in positions where he can start to attack. That's a really good shot right there against Ramsey Nijem, a hard uppercut. Really nice. And then if he finds himself in this position, most of the time, of course, he's thinking Darces and Anacondas. And if he's just hit his opponent, they might be kind of dazed, might not be really quite thinking exactly what they're doing. And before they know it, they're half asleep. Here's a good example here, one of his earlier fights. Lovely long jab. Look at that long reach that he's got. If he uses that against Chandler, it's going to be really difficult for Chandler to catch him without covering a lot of distance. Stings him with that, but isn't too eager to close distance. His opponent shoots from a long way out because he doesn't feel like he can get any closer in. And Tony Ferguson defends it, and he's immediately threatening the neck. And here's another exchange here where he catches him with a counter shot. Short punch on the chin, and his opponent's now rocked. You could quite easily see this happening with Chandler. That could be a punch, or it could be an elbow. And then his opponent level changes. And here's Tony Ferguson back in his game. He wraps up, I think this one's a Darce. Yeah, this one's a Darce. He wraps up a Darce and he falls to the side. And then he puts that squeeze on. And he chases his opponent. So now his opponent's trying to get his hips away. So there's some space for him to stretch his neck out and breathe. What Tony's doing right now is he's trying to bring their hips together, which forces his head further into the choke. Lovely stuff. And then clamped onto a guillotine. This is the thing. At any point when the posture's broken, you've got to also remember that he's got a height advantage. At any point when Chandler's posture's broken, Tony Ferguson could be over him, working on his neck. Yeah, it's a really, really strong position for Tony Ferguson. He's proven that over and over again. And a tired or hurt or beaten up Michael Chandler, he might be susceptible. If I'm Tony Ferguson, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'm going to snatch his neck and I'm not going to try and initiate grappling until he's already hurt.